that. So I did a video like about 2 weeks ago now explaining what I thought a grifter was. But I'm curious, Scorpio has done a ton of documentaries on grifters such as Teddy Spaghetti and Owen. So I'm curious, Scorpio, how do you define a grifter? You're the expert.
Well, Sam, a grifter, just briefly, is basically is a thief. That's what the dictionary definition is. But we're talking about a specific breed here. We're talking about a breed of grifter. The ones we concentrate on tend to be ones that dip their toes into the political pool, whether that be something like straight up Republican or Democrat, or some. But most of the time, it's something intangible. For example, your
subculture.
Yeah, well, your left wing grifters, their intangibles are going to be like the environment or ending poverty worldwide or something like that. Whereas your right wing grifters focus on the Constitution, e.g., free speech, God, guns, religion, the usual things. Now, the Gamma Secret Kings tend to concentrate on the right wing grifters, and there's a lot of theories for that. But it seems like most of us, one reason that is because a lot of us are conservative in the Gamma Secret King subreddit.
Yeah.
So those are the people that are always popping up on our radars.
Yeah.
So we go after, and a lot of these tend to fall into that, the quote unquote alt right or fart right, whatever it might be called. Your Cernoviches, your Teddy Spaghettis. They've all claimed that title from time to time. But Apex, you mentioned the subculture thing, and that's part of it. Now, it's very, if we get more deeper into it, one of the things you're gonna see is that glomming onto subcultures or a sudden change of worldview. We saw that with Owen Benjamin when he went from being a liberal guy to a conservative guy after Trump's election in 2016.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did that. That's actually a big one. Now, if you want to talk about grifters, that's when they came out of the woodwork, was after Trump's election.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of people jumped onto the Trump train.
I have a theory about that, and I don't think it's much of a theory. I think it's kind of factual to people that have been paying attention to Owen long enough, that he learned much of what he began to do after Trump got elected directly from Steven Crowder. The whole right-wing Christian conservative grift that he started to move towards was directly from like education from Steven Crowder, which is why he gave Steven Crowder so much credit. But to break it down even further, my opinion, I agree 100% with you, but the reason I particularly gravitated towards Owen, and perhaps, and this, I know this was news to you recently, Scorpio, but I was a fan. I actually found Owen and I enjoyed watching him as a dude that drank coffee at fucking 8 a.m. for an hour and played piano and looked at memes and said funny shit, and talked to the chat. You know what I'm saying? He seemed like a normal dude, and he did talk about Hollywood, and I watched the downfall, but then I also watched him go from refusing to say a certain both religious and ethnic group at the same time, just refusing to say their name, to just blaming them for everything. And then he went to the moon's not real, or the moon landing's not real. And then the thing is, I've been lurking on the internet for long enough that I recognized so many of the areas that he was hitting, and he was pulling. He he basically would watch videos. And many of the comments on the clips that I used to make on my channel that's now gone, the original Apex Gamma channel, would point that out. Space Dementia, a regular commenter, shout out to Space Dementia, would point it out all the time. She would be like, dude, he literally, this is so-and-so's video, a decade-old conspiracy video on YouTube. And Owen would fucking pull little bits of it, which would bring people in, and he would talk about it for a week and would raise him money. And then, you know, when that ran out, he would move on to the next thing, which is why I've said for months now, the turpentine thing is like the fucking bottom of the barrel. He's had nowhere to go from this point, which is why he just keeps attacking people, James True, and trying to get Milker Nation removed from fucking YouTube, and you know, just making more enemies. But the grift in Owen, I said, I think it was last week in the short clip that Sammy posted, that Owen is, in my experience, maybe it's just because I have so much experience with him, but he's the highest example of how fucking bad the internet can be, both for other people and the people using it. You know, like the person like projecting themselves onto it, rather. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry to go long-winded there, but
no, that's a good point, and I'm glad you brought up where he got it from. I mean, he that was Crowder when he was with Crowder for that brief time. He picked up a lot of tricks from that man, but that Crowder is also another good example of a right-wing grifter.
Yeah, a much better one, actually. One more let's say more mentally stable, or less mentally stable. I'm not sure.
Well, he's much more disciplined. That's for sure.
That's it. That's what it is. I'm much more disciplined because he's definitely a fucking lunatic. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, Owen has no self-control, and he learned valuable lessons. And the dude's made a ton of fucking money talking shit on the internet. I mean, he has, and he really deserves to be like somewhere in the Encyclopedia Dramatica for Grifter, like a picture of him, maybe with his Jew nose rubbing his hands together or something. But
Crowder's kind of a weird case though, and I'm not necessarily defending Steven Crowder now, but when I had first heard of Steven Crowder, he was working for Andrew Breitbart, who I admire deeply as anyone who follows the lore of this show knows. And Crowder was doing like more journalistic stuff with Breitbart News, and then he struck out to do his own thing and did his own podcast. And what was interesting was when Crowder first started his original outer with Crowder, it was a radio show out in Michigan that he was just doing it like on some local AM station. And then once YouTube live streaming came along, he decided to do it on there. And I actually reached out to Crowder like early on, back before it became famous, and offered to have him on my show. And at first he said yes, and it was just like a matter of scheduling, and it never really worked out. And then later I reached out to him again once he became like much bigger, and I actually remember on stream once he had said something like to the effect of, hey, listen, we can't afford to Jared and I can't afford to go on every small time podcast that wants to have us on. And I mean,
sounds like something Rich would say.
And I mean, like, look, I didn't take it, personally, like he was directing that at me, specifically, but I did kind of find it interesting that like that was his response to, the smaller kind of fan base that had helped him out initially. That, rather than just saying, hey, look, we don't have time, but thank you for the offer. It was more like, we can't afford to show up on every single, small podcast. So it was just kind of his attitude about the whole thing That irked
Well,
me.
I mean, I have this theory, and I think it's pretty sound if you look around the internet, that every fucking single successful e-celebrity is a grifter and a lolcow that just doesn't know it yet. They will either end up a lolcow or they have been all along. And their whole purpose for being is to grift. There is a
Right.
very, I would argue there's a very, very small percentage of people that are successful at making content on the internet that aren't, like, wouldn't qualify as grifters. People that change their views, change what they do to appease their audience to make money. That's effectively what a grifter is, in my opinion. I mean, like the simplest form, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's, yeah. So
That's
I mean, I feel
what
like
it is.
that's what the internet is, man. Like, people that make money on the internet as a living, I mean, are effectively grifters. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not 100% of the time, but Sammy will take his shirt off if you send him a fucking Streamlabs. I mean, is that a grifter? You know?
No, and
So,
it gets much more specific. Now
of
that's
course,
one
of
part.
course.
Apex is
That's very
the
broad. Of course, I'm brushing with a broad stroke, but just trying to be nihilistic here. Go ahead, man.
yeah. That's just one. I mean, there's a few components. That's one of them. The change of worldview, jumping into different communities. Um, we had well, we were talking about after Trump's election, and I immediately think about the Never Trumpers who switched. Like I believe Shapiro was a Never Trumper. Glenn Beck
Yeah.
was another one that was a
Yeah,
very
Shapiro.
public switch.
Oh yeah.
Shapiro for sure was. Yeah.
Glenn Beck too.
Right.
Glenn Beck switched. Glenn and Beck's switch pissed me off because I had actually met Glenn Beck like a long time ago, back in 2012, and then once Trump got nominated, he said something like Beck said something like, if you've ever been a listener of mine and you vote for Trump, you might as well, you're just like all the Germans who voted for Hitler in 1932 or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
and then he was pretending that he never said that, after the fact. So
Yeah.
that's another thing about grifters too that I've noticed is, the grifter also tends to deny that they've changed their opinion on things.
Oh
Not
yeah.
only that, but they will deny it in the face of fucking recorded evidence of
Oh.
them literally saying it with their own fucking voice, man.
Oh yeah. And so this is another thing because Apex did kind of paint that broad brushstroke that anyone who is trying to make money online is technically a grifter, and I suppose that's true, maybe to a certain extent. So
No. Not everybody that's trying to make money online, because there are artists that literally just make art and try to sell it, and they sell way more art online than they fucking ever would try and do without the internet. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like animators and musicians, dude. Like artists of all kinds, the internet's great for. But I guess I did paint with too broad of a brush there,
Yeah.
because it's not everyone that tries to make money on the internet. It's people that try to make money based solely on their personality and their opinion. Period. That's pretty much in my. I guess that to use a little thinner of a brush.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a good distinction. But I want to get to that money thing, how the grifters what sets them apart monetary wise. I wanted to go through a few more examples first, if we can.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I mean, so because that's a big one. The how they reach into other cookie jars. We have Ted Beale. You know, another one of our favorites. He's always jumping into the issue du jour. Um, for example, he jumped into Comicsgate. He inserted himself into Comicsgate, and you want to talk about monetization? He actually monetized that thing. He started his own comics line. So
Yeah.
that's a man. Actually, I
Yeah,
think
yeah, dude. The war with Ethan Van Sciver.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What is he
yeah, dude.
called?
I go that far back. That's how I found Vox Day. That's how I discovered Vox Day originally. Yeah. Go ahead
It,
though. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So but that's one thing that he is very well known for is jumping into these communities and causing a split almost, causing little turmoils, and then he'll have his own little group that he had. Most of the time, it's the group he came in with, but then he'll start his own little project. Now he has after that Comicsgate thing. That's why that's what caused the friction with Ethan Van Sciver was he wanted to claim the Comicsgate name for his comics company. Do you remember that, Apex?
Yeah.
oh
No, no,
yeah,
no.
oh yeah. I
That's
remember.
exactly.
Yeah,
He literally tried to monetize Comics Gate.
Yeah.
And yeah, that started the fucking split, which
and
is literally that is a grifter in action. Perfect example,
well,
Scorpio, dude. Perfect.
well, and then kind of so when I first found out about Ted was because of Gamergate, which I think was either like a little bit later or maybe like during Comicsgate. I can't remember when, but I remember when I first heard of Teddy Spaghetti Vox Day, it was because of Gamergate. And someone actually posted this in Gamma Kings the other day, but he was doing it. But Vox was doing an interview with some extremely liberal news commentator and talking about Gamergate at first. And at first I'm thinking, okay, so far this Vox Day guy is making some really good points about how journalists are really biased in gaming, and how the SJWs are really taking over gaming. Like, yeah, I completely agree with everything this guy is saying. And then the conversation switches to like marriage and relationships, and Vox pretty much says something like, there is no such thing as marital rape because of English, and he brings up English common law, and the guy's like, yeah, but we're in the U.S., and Vox is just like, no, it doesn't matter. It's English common law. So
Well, let me give you a little history lesson, Sam. A brief one. Gamergate was several years before Comicsgate, which is exactly why Teddy had the inclination to monetize Comicsgate when it became a thing, which is why it drove a wedge between him and Ethan Van Sciver and the whole actual comics community, Comicsgate community at the time, because Teddy rode that Gamergate community and he saw Mr. Medicare and fucking Ethan Ralph and everybody else that rode that wave into internet fandom, internet grifterdom, essentially. I mean, look at
Mhm.
fucking Ethan Ralph now, for fuck's sake, dude. But but the point is, like, Teddy with his bald head and his creaky fucking chair and his 4 foot fucking stature, saw an opportunity to monetize, which is exactly what he saw with the Big Bird. And Big Bird was a much smaller target and a much easier target than Gamergate. Gamergate was huge. Comicsgate was pretty big. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
um, there were a lot of influential people involved in Comicsgate. Owen Benjamin is fucking nobody. Nobody gives a fuck about Owen Benjamin except for the idiots that care about Owen Benjamin. And there was a lot of them. And there's still somehow there still are. It just keeps recycling these viewers somehow. The well will end eventually. But yeah, I mean, I think Owen has been manipulated by Teddy Spaghetti since the moment they became in contact with one another, just like Owen was manipulated by Steven Crowder. Only Vox is the quote unquote Dark Lord. Oh, I didn't take that. I didn't give myself that name. I only call myself that because other people call me that. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, but I'm the Dark Lord with the fucking uh the evil legion of evil. What the fuck? What? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much you want to talk about fucking in your face bullshit.
I'm
God damn, dude.
I'm 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 not a James Bond villain. That's just how those who oppose me perceive me as a Bond villain. So
Oh no. Someone comments, "Oh, the evil legion of evil sounds like a cult." Oh yeah, you're not wrong to say that cuz it is. Or something like that. You know what I mean?
Vox proudly talked. He has like how he not only has one cult, but he has the evil legion of evil. Then he has the Dread Elk. Then he has, so basically he has all these different cults out there. I think he's trying to upstage Owen Benjamin in the fact that Owen Benjamin can barely manage one cult, whereas like Teddy has like 5 or 6.
Okay, so this is complete freaking nonsense, but I think the way it works with Ted's cult is that I think the evil legion of evil is the umbrella that they're all under, and underneath that umbrella you have the Dread Ilk, which are his old guard. You have your Kurgans and your freaks like that, and then you have the VFM, the vile faceless minions, and those are the rank and file. They just are mindlessly obedient to Ted. He'll send out email blasts to his VFM to go do their little gay operations they have. For example, they were instrumental in his little. I don't know if y'all are familiar with his rabid puppies fiasco when he was going.
I am not.
It was when he was. I'm not going to get into it all right now, but it was part of his sci-fi shtick. He was trying to rig the vote for his people that fit under his group. He called them the rabid puppies.
Oh,
yeah.
It was all the. I don't know, I guess.
It's Scorpio. Is this the thing that he was complaining on his blog recently with the science fiction book?
Oh no, this is something else. That's the comic books. This is old Teddy stuff. This is from like 5-6 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So he got into it. He was, as y'all know, he's some kind of lame science fiction writer, right? So he was in the running for, or he threw his hat in the ring to be the president of their sci-fi club, whatever the hell it is. And he didn't get it. So he got all pissed off, and he kind of formed his own faction where they were going to. Now this group, they vote, right? They vote for the Hugo Awards. They're part of many other groups that vote for who wins best science fiction, this and that. Well, it's another like Comicsgate, Gamersgate type thing. But this, I guess it would be Sci-Fi Gate. I'm not sure. I don't think it had a name. But so they felt that the SJWs were infecting the science fiction world too much. So they were going to do their own thing. He set up these little voting blocks. And he, as part of that, he emailed all the VFM, oh, these are the guys you have to vote for. You know, I was trying to rig the vote, in other words, and it just all blew up in his face. All of their rabid puppies, they all either came in last or they didn't even place or whatever the case might be. Another Teddy failure. But okay, so that's the VFM. They're the ones that do all the little lame, the dirty work, in other words. And then you have
the
the
VFM. They're the ones that I was actually trying to refer to when I kept saying his whatever I kept saying earlier. I was trying to refer to his VFM. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, and yeah, so you got the Dready Oak, you have the VFM, and you have the Legal Legion of Evil, and that's the supposed 28. It changes. I think at one time it was 26. I think now it's 28 lawyers.
Wait, there was the deplorables too, right? Because Jordan Peterson called him deplorable at one point. So he started calling his followers the deplorables. Are you not up on that, Laura?
It's no, I don't. I think it's that might be an archaic term. I think it's one of those things they might have dropped or they just use from time to time. But yeah, I see that. I see there, that.
But I was there for that though. Like I was watching fucking Teddy Spaghetti as like a passive viewer when he's like, "Oh look, Jordan Peterson talks about me and he called me deplorable. You guys are the deplorables now." And that's when I'm like, I struggled anyway, but I needed guidance, and I was looking for it in the wrong place. That's how I found these fucking idiots.
One of
we've all been weak at some point. God damn it!
One of my favorite arguments. One of my favorite arguments. It wasn't so much an argument, but one of my favorite pitches that someone tried to make to me, because someone actually this was before I had even heard of Owen. Someone actually was like, "Sam, you should connect with Vox Day," and I'm like, "Why? The dude is kind of weird." And they were like, "Well, you like comic books and science fiction, which I do, and Vox Day likes comic books and science fiction, and you're both conservative, therefore you should connect," which is to me kind of the same logic as saying that like I should be friends with like Mussolini or something because we both drink waters or something. But it's just like that. It's just kind of like that's how a lot of these grifters like interconnect with each other.
Jesus Christ! I was not ready for that, Sam.
I didn't think that joke would come off as well as it did, but I mean.
Hey, wait. Speaking of jokes, hey Scorpio.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel about writing a single joke or multiple jokes to speak either anonymously or otherwise during a George Floyd comedy roast?
Is this itself a joke? Or
No, it's not. Actually, it started as a joke, but it's a real thing. We need people. One joke or a whole set. I'm gonna do a whole set, and I'm gonna humiliate myself. It's gonna be terrible, dude, but it's gonna be really funny.
Hoax Wars is hosting it, so.
Oh wow, that sounds interesting, man.
Ralph might be Ethan Ralph. We might get Ethan Ralph involved, so I can tell him he has a little dick and he's fat. And, because that's the best part of roast, man, is roasting each other. You guys can talk shit. I expect everyone to talk shit about me because I'm easy to talk shit about. So, but it started as a joke. It's like, hey, let's have a George Floyd roast. I don't even remember. There's a Patrice O'Neill Groiper is his name. He's never gonna hear this fucking podcast probably, but he's in Hoax Wars Discord, and he was like, he mentioned it, and I'm like, dude, that's actually a really funny idea. And I brought it up to Hoax, or no, I don't remember exactly how it went, but I'm like, dude, we could do it legit. It's like a roast master, and like bring as many legit people on. Anthony Cumia has been reached out to. Ethan Ralph is tacitly on board. I have been slotted for a whole set, and I have never written a joke in my fucking life, but I'm trying because I think it'll be really funny, whether they're good jokes or not, because it's all going to be on camera.
You'll still be better. Well, don't worry, Apex. I'm pretty sure that Anthony Cumia has never wrote a joke either, despite being on comedy radio for 30 years or however.
Yeah, well, you know what he has done is he's been around people that have written jokes and told good jokes. He's surely absorbed some of that in that fucking hair of his.
He's also he also may or may not have had relations with underage girls who stole.
Oh my god.
Who stole his gun?
Sam,
who stole his
why
gun?
you gotta go there, man?
Well,
this was funny. It was funny, man. I was being funny. I was trying to be funny. I'm just kidding. So, speaking of grifters, what do you think about Anthony Cumia? Where does he lie on the grifter scale, Scorpio?
Oh God, he definitely doesn't come up much on the Gamma Secret King subreddit. I can say that much. I don't know too much about the man himself.
Okay.
Other than him being, his general localosity, but no, I'm interested in that. DM me some more details, either on Discord or Twitter.
I will do my best. I will do that, but I will actually see if I can get you in the Discord. See if we can work this all out.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that sounds very, very interesting.
Dude, listen, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be terrible, almost certainly, but it's gonna be funny, and it could be like really funny, and not that terrible. But I don't know if you've ever watched a roast. Most people have.
Yeah,
they're usually pretty terrible, and the people doing the roasting, they generally don't sound like they like the people that they're talking about, even though that they probably don't dislike the people that they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point. So that's why it seems so funny, because there's murals of this motherfucker with wings all over the country. Like he's a fucking saint. And listen, like Sam said earlier, what happened to the man? I've never heard anybody say that what happened was justified. Let's kneel on somebody's fucking neck for 8 minutes as an official peace officer. That's not okay. But neither is what happened to lots of white people too. But you've never heard about them. But that's not the point. Or Mexicans too. Fuck. But the point still is it's funny because he's like the big thing. And every single I've actually brought this up IRL. I'm not kidding you. I've been like, my internet friends have been like, hey, you want to do a roast of George Floyd? Every fucking single person is like, I don't know, man. Like that alone is fucking funny to me, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not a joke writer. I'm, like I've said before, I'm more of a fool than I am a comedian. So right, yeah. I'll just dance around with a funny hat on and say funny things.
People always like to try and call me a comedian, but the reality is I'm a comic enthusiast, and I'm a comedy enthusiast, and I just so happen to be funnier than Owen Benjamin. But let's face it, that's not a very high bar.
Sam. Yeah.
So
No, Sam, you're funny and you're funny and awesome in so many ways that can't be quantified on normal levels.
I also,
In my opinion, which is why I'm always here with you,
which I,
because you know what, you're different. You're different, awesome.
which I,
That's
which
all.
are you saying I'm a special boy?
I'm
my-
hitting on you is actually what I'm doing. I didn't want to be real blunt about it.
Well, that's evil Eric. That's evil Eric's job, or Johnny's job to hit on me. One of those two guys. So Nira in the chat earlier asked another good question, which is, so if people who sell their personalities, online are grifters, then who isn't a grifter then, I guess?
Well, that's a really fine line, man. That's
Me.
a good question to ask.
I would immediately answer Neri with me. I'm not a grifter necessarily. So
Well, Sammy, that depends on your definition. Because as I said earlier, if Fat Keck Boy donated you $15 and said take your shirt off, or $20 and said take your shirt off, and you're like, nah, $20, fuck that. Maybe 50. And then you got another $30 in your fucking Streamlabs from somebody else. You wouldn't take your shirt off?
I probably would, maybe. But
Right. So,
but
no. But listen, that's not a bad thing. That's appeasing your audience. But is that a grifter? Because how far does that go? Because you're just taking your shirt. That's not anything. But if your audience starts donating you hundreds of dollars and they're like, the fucking Trump's fucking blah, blah, the Antichrist, and says that, you know what I mean? I don't fucking know, but something anti whatever you actually believe, hundreds of dollars, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And they keep in these super chats start telling you or saying things counter to what you believe. Would you start saying that?
no, and it's funny because I've actually not been offered that.
Well, no. But I mean, again, that's my point though, is it's easy to say now because nobody's offering you hundreds of dollars to change your mind. But if some random fucking person started streamlabbing you, again, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars even. I mean, thousands might be suspicious, but regularly donating, 50, hundreds of dollars every week you stream and saying things that are counter to what you believe, or maybe just more than one person, because it would probably take more than one person. But if your audience grew by 20%, and that entire growth from where it is now is people that are counter to what you believe, but they're all the people donating you money, would you change the way you approached your show? Would you change the way you talked about the things you reported? I bet you would. I would. It's not a slight against you because you're like, I mean, maybe not. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that.
What I might do is I might change my presentation a bit, but I don't think I would change my opinion, which I think is what you're asking. If I would change.
Well, no, because you know what? I don't think Owen Benjamin is any fucking different than he was 10 years ago. I think that he plays a fucking character. And because he has acting experience, he plays it better. Well, no, he doesn't play it fucking better, but he plays it more confidently than most people can do.
Yeah.
So he's more willing to fucking throw himself into this. The moon landing's not real, and the Jews are responsible for everything, and which both of those might be true. I don't fucking know, but he throws himself without any real knowledge about these things. He just fucking throws himself into it because he can play. He's confident in improv. You know what I mean? He's gained that ability, and he has enough bullet points to understand how the internet grift works. I mean, look at him. Look at the fucking dude. I've been deplatformed. I've been demonetized. Oh shit! I still have a fucking I still have a YouTube channel that's gaining money, but I've been deplatformed from YouTube for months now.
Yeah, Johnny brings up a good point. He says that's why I never accept money from internet strangers. I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know nothing. I owe nothing to anyone. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, thanks for the internet donation, but that doesn't necessarily. You can't buy my friendship. I'm not like a.
Well, Sammy, if you were down and out, if you were used to making, what did Owen claim? Scorpio, remind me, what was he claiming to make on his sitcom?
I think that's what sets the grifters from the non-grifters apart, is the amount of the money. I think it was it 30,000 or 300,000 an episode, something like that. It was
30,000, like it was like 30,000 a week. What's up?
Yeah, so that's, in my opinion, that's what sets apart, because I mean, like you were saying, Apex, people make money off the internet. I mean, that's just the way things are going. I'll just speak on my own personally. I do little things. I'll sell T-shirts, or I'll accept PayPal donations, or I'll I have a Patreon. Now, I don't make much on any of those things, but I'm not making like we were saying, the Owen Benjamin money. He was making what was it? He claimed 30,000 a month on YouTube. So that's where, when you get to those levels, that's when you start to see them compromise. But I honestly don't think that these men have any values to be compromised. I think the only value they have is the money.
Yep. Yeah, dude, that's right on the nose.
Well, and I've also noticed that all these celebs get like a little like high on themselves too. Like I find it hilarious when people like meme me and parody and super chat me funny stuff, because I don't take myself too seriously. I can joke about myself, but like I've noticed that like a lot of like, if anyone makes fun of Owen to his face, rather than laughing about it and being like, hey, that's a really funny parody that you did, it's you're banned, and you're banned for life. I mean, that was the whole thing with the whole gummy incident. Like initially he was like, oh, this was hilarious, and then later he was like, someone tried to poison me, and it, which never even happened. So it's the whole ego thing. So
here's $5.
So as far as we set up that we were starting to establish that pattern, right? There was grifters coming out of the Trump election. There was grifters coming out of Comicsgate.
Yep.
The other one that I wanted to talk about was Cernovich, because he came out of he started out kind of as a pickup artist guy. And now there's a lot of grifters that come out of that community, the Pua community. But with let me see who's freaking freaking Ted dabbled in that community also. Who else is out there? It's I want to say Coach Red Pill is another one. What's his name? Roosh came out of that one. Now a lot of people don't see Roosh as a grifter, and I tend not to pay too much attention to him either. But I just always question anybody who comes out of that particular community, the pickup artist community, because that is a big grift in and of itself.
Yeah. Oh, that.
Wait, isn't Vosh, whoever that fucking dude is that went to Owen's house, that used to be a
Roosh? Yeah, Roosh. Yeah,
Roosh. Yeah,
Roosh V.
He's now a super hardcore, like basically a less extreme version of Owen. All of a sudden, that used to be a pickup artist. I mean, he's a Christian that preaches all the same shit, but more strictly, and doesn't jump into turpentine and the moon's fake and a lens and a battery and all the other fucking shit. You know,
Yeah,
right?
he's I think he's I what I know from Roosh is that he was a pickup artist, and he got, he settled down with a woman, and the woman cheated on him. So after that, it like shattered his world. I mean, ironically, and now he is a Orthodox Christian. Now I've been told that his conversion is sincere. Like I said, I don't follow him enough. I know that he has
It
a,
might be. I believe that.
yeah, but like I said, it's just questionable when you have such extreme, like we were talking about earlier, such extreme changes in worldview, such extreme changes in personality. So that you
Listen,
always have to keep an eye on that type of thing.
for
Yeah.
sure. Now, Scorpio. Now, for me, dude, I just personally, I've not been a very stable individual for most of my life at this point.
Hmm.
So I understand like wild swings of like true wild swings of understanding of the world and perceptions of things. But for me, it's from that point, beyond that, it's the company that you keep. And if you have had some sort of spiritual awakening, as Roosh claimed to have had, and then can go to fucking Ursa Manor and sit with Owen Benjamin for multiple hours on camera and multiple hours off camera and still walk away with respect for both him and yourself, I don't believe you. I don't believe a fucking thing that you have said up to that point, because I've never met anybody. I shouldn't say meet. I've never seen anybody that has stricken me with so much disingenuousness as that man known as the Big Bear, or the Big Bird in smaller circles.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's very well said, man. That's a very good point.
yeah, I mean, again, the company that you keep. So Owen and Vox teaming up, that was like, whoa, wait a minute. That looking into both of them and realizing, okay, we got a dad who's in prison for embezzlement for like fucking 40 years or some shit, who is still idolized by his son, who sits in a fucking creaky chair with his glasses and his fake books behind him. You know we don't read those fucking books. What are those fucking books behind him? Uh, and then you got Owen, who is clearly a homosexual, who's, pumping kids out of this lesbian who's pretending she's not, because they both hate what they are and they just are refusing to accept it. And only her parents give a fuck about anything that happens in either of their lives, which is why those shitty fences and shitty chicken coops have been built by that 85-year-old fucking man known as Grandpa Jack. And again, we're spelling it out. This is what a grifter fucking is. Owen is a fucking liar, and he's lazy. He's a piece of shit, dude. He doesn't do a fucking thing off camera. He just pretends on camera that he does. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
as fine a point as I can put on it, man.
And
I don't really know.
he just as you said earlier, he's planning to. I don't think I've ever heard him do a stream where he can't not talk about penises or gay sex for like 5 minutes. So
I mean, no, listen, he's definitely done streams where he's not talked about gay sex or penises for more than 5 minutes. But within those minutes or hours, he's fucking elbowing dogs. He's throwing fucking beer cans at animals. He's fucking. He's busting beer bottles over his fucking fireplace because he can't find a bottle opener. That's my favorite clip, by the way, of all time.
In my
When he
head,
smashes the beer.
in
I thought that would work.
my mind, that made sense. What one for?
Yeah, that's it. In my mind, that made sense. Oh my fuck, dude. I mean, listen, if Owen is a comedian, that's the comedy right there. Like, if he was trying to do that, if he did that on purpose, that's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Like, for real.
I think the fact that he didn't though is what makes it funny though. So
No,
Yeah, well, it's unintentional as always. I mean, that's what's funny about
in my
Owen.
mind, that
It's
made
not
sense.
it's not anything he's doing intentionally.
my
But that's what makes a locale. I mean, that's
I swear to God, dude, every e-celeb of, say, 1 million followers on any social media platform or more, 1 million or more, is a lolcow. They just don't know it yet. I mean, I feel like it's an inevitability of e-celebrity because we are all fucked, dude. Every single one of us human beings are fucked. And we try, well, the people that make themselves popular on the internet portray themselves in a certain way, which guess what? Is a fucking lie. In some degree, it's a lie. You're not telling the truth somewhere in this projection of yourself online. Well, I guess it's not 100% true, but I mean, I would say 99% of it. Uh, you've got the Alex Joneses of the world who don't give a fuck, and literally just, they don't give a fuck. They will. That's who they are. I mean, I would expect that if I met Alex Jones, he would try to sell me some boner pills and some fucking fluoride water or some anti-fluoride shit and whatever, And he would talk to me just like he does on screen when I watch his show. Listen, young man, you gotta whatever. Making the frogs gay, whatever.
Do you?
But
I do want to
go
ask.
ahead, Sam.
I do want to ask about Alex Jones though, because
I feel like I had a point, Sam. Before you go on, Alex, never mind. I don't know what it was. I lost it. It's gone. Go ahead.
Okay. Do you have a pointer? Okay. I feel like there are those like Alex who. I feel like there are exceptions to the grifter rule, and Alex is one of them because.
No. Nope. Alex Jones is the pin. Alex is the apex grifter. Alex is the grifter that all grifters wish they could be, because Alex Jones is more right than he's wrong in most cases, but he also doesn't give a fuck about anything except capitalism and supposedly telling the truth. That's what he says. So who cares? I've literally never bought anything he's ever sold, but I've learned a fuckload from that man. And I've also been misled by that man quite a few times. But the Boston bombing, thanks to the Alex Jones and the InfoWars crew during that whole charade, that was what was that, 2016, 2015? The Boston bombing?
That was
the Boston Marathon
that
bombing?
was 2012, I think.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I think I was still in high school when that happened.
Holy shit. Okay, well, whenever that was, InfoWars that was one of my kind of awakenings, man, thanks to InfoWars. But I also think thanks to that moment was led down many fucking erroneous paths. So
yeah, I mean
take it for what you will.
I mean the only reason I say that Alex isn't a grifter is because I think that Owen and Ted deep down, and even Cernovich maybe as an example, I think they know they're full of shit. Those three at least.
Wait. That's actually a good question, Scorpio. I have a question for you. What do you think? Like, where's the line? Excuse me. On you know, looking to make money on the internet. Like, obviously, selling things. Like, you make something and you put it on a website and people buy it and you send it to them and they give you money for it. That doesn't count. But giving your opinion versus giving them a product, whether that be music or a physical piece of clothing or jewelry. I don't think you can grift when you make something. Like as
Right.
an artist of any kind, whether you're selling t-shirts, well, fuck, that's a fine line too, because people talk shit on Mr. Medicare, who's now disappeared from the YouTube sphere. But he said for years that just fucking buy a hat and draw 5 stars on it with a marker, and then he started selling hats. And they're like, oh shit, he's a grifter, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
and people are very quick to throw that term around nowadays. But yeah, there
yeah,
is a line. There is a line, Apex, and that's I think the main thing is. Now, remember we talked earlier about the intangibles, the the big lofty ideals that these men have, men and women, because there are women grifters. Uh,
yeah, for
but
sure.
that's what it comes down to. Once they get into your community, once they have you hooked, then they sell you their ideas, and then they let you know how you can help. And that help always is money. It's always monetary help, and it's money for vague promises. It's intangible products for an intangible cause. So you'll have often you'll hear, like I said, with the right wingers, there'll be we're fighting for free speech, and you can help by donating to this cause, or a lot of them straight up now just have a GoFundMe. What happened recently? We're talking about we talked about Cassandra Fairbanks a little bit last time I was on Sam's show, and she when that thing was, I think when it first went down with the riots up there in, I think it was Seattle. She had a grip set up where Ezra Levant actually was pushing it to get her. She set up a GoFundMe for Cassandra Fairbanks because supposedly Antifa was trying to break down her door, so they needed to move her into a new apartment. So you could donate to Cassandra's GoFundMe so she can get a new apartment. Now that's something that's tangible, but if you look if you look between the lines, well, we're fighting the left. We're fighting we're fighting these Antifa goons. So send us some money. It always comes down to something like that. I'm fighting for free speech, so support my my Patreon, or support my what have you. And usually they have their own. A lot of these guys have their own platforms,
Yeah,
but you're always expected to contribute to a cause, and you don't get anything for that. Another good example is this whole recent thing with Owen the Bertaria thing. People were sending him money for nothing. I mean, I
I'm gonna
think
move my family to
that's
fucking
what the
Iowa
line
now.
is. A lot of these guys will expect money for nothing, and I think that's where the line is. Like you said, if somebody gives you money for a shirt and you give them a shirt, that's not a grift, you know. But if
Right.
somebody selling you,
Uh,
I don't know what the hell Owen was selling. I mean, it was supposed to be
no,
campgrounds or something, and now it's $400 for nothing, basically.
bro, no, that's a perfect. No, that's perfect, because that's exactly. It's when I said it, I was trying to make it sound like it was a fine line between selling shirts and hats versus pretending like you're gonna open a fucking 100-acre goddamn fucking escape for your goddamn cult members for them to drink Kool-Aid. And you raise how many fucking thousands? How many? Please remind me how many thousands of
Well,
dollars they raised.
it supposedly got up to damn near 200,000.
Jesus fucking Lord Almighty. So now it's shut down. That's not happening. Now Owen's pretending like it was never a thing, right? So what happens to that money? That goes to Owen, right?
Well,
Or no?
I have a theory about the whole Bertara thing, actually.
Well,
So-
wait. Before your theory, what happens to that money?
Well, Owen has the money. Oh, it's
Right.
not.
That's Owen's
he-
money.
Yeah, it's Owen's money, and he was real quick afterwards to set up all kinds of his own terms and conditions. He put it
dude.
he put it every which way he could that this is a non-refundable donation. So
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Listen, if Grifter ends up in Encyclopedia Dramatica, for the love of God, please put Owen Benjamin rubbing his hands together with a big Jew nose as the picture. Please.
So
Sam, you had something to say. Go ahead.
So my theory with the whole Bertara thing, I can't believe I didn't figure this out earlier, but I think Bertara was simply a money laundering. Again, this is all allegedly, so this is. But it seems to me that the Bertara thing was a money laundering thing for Owen's legal fees with Patreon, right? Because he's taking on Patreon. He's supposedly taking on big tech. How much money is that going to cost? About 200 grand when all is said and done. Even if he loses, it's probably going to be the cost of doing, business. So, I mean, why not just? But obviously, he can't say that we need cash for a lawsuit because we have no idea what the hell we're actually doing. So why not, make up the whole thing of, guys, we're gonna buy land and it'll be great and all you guys can come. So, he can't say that. So instead he can't say that he needs illegal, fee money, so he's going to make up the campground story instead. So,
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. After all this talk of grifting and shit, I think I'm gonna start an OnlyFans and a GoFundMe for something undetermined. I'm not sure yet.
I actually originally thought that OnlyFans was a podcast paywall service before I figured out what it was. So
Well, Sammy, it is if you take your shirt off.
I'm starting to notice a theme here. So
Shit,
now,
man. All right.
Apex, as long as you're delivering nudes, you're not grifting on OnlyFans. So
Right. See? Sammy? Take that shirt off. Rub your nipples and be like, the Three Gorges Dam is experiencing its fourth wave of floods in the last 3 months. Ooh.
is that
Or something.
is
I don't
it
know.
is that even
Play it by ear, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's true. I do remember I did think of challenging Owen Benjamin in like a WWE wrestling type promo or something.
Bro, the Three Gorges Dam is gonna break, and millions of people are gonna suffer. I'm pretty sure, anyway. But yeah, WWE match with Owen Benjamin, sure. I mean, your wheelchair with goddamn fucking skill saws that poke out at a horizontal angle, and the flamethrowers that poke out at the front will surely deal with his 6 foot probably 5 because he's claimed 6'7", 6'8". That 6'5" faggot frame will melt and be cut into like little chunks. Don't eat it though. I mean, it'll be cut into eatable chunks, but don't eat it.
Why?
Get turpentine poisoning.
Wait. Look, Sam, don't let me on your show anymore.
No, you always say that too, and you always tweet me the day after saying, "Don't let this guy on your show." But you're just, what can I say, man? You're too amusing. I have to bring you on. So,
Listen. I can't see through my own glasses because there are tears upon them, and the shirt that I'm wearing is not conductive to absorbing tears off of metal or glass. It's not metal. I don't wear metal glasses. What the fuck am I talking about?
So I've made you laugh so hard you're crying, is what you're saying?
Sam, listen to me. Yes.
Also, how drunk are you right now?
Wait. Not that. Period.
How stoned?
Not that. Period.
Gay?
No, not that. How drunk am I?
Yeah.
Not that drunk. Period.
Oh.
How stoned am I? Not that stoned. Period. That's what I was saying.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I'm pretty much both.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, the last time that you were on stream, drunk, I'm pretty sure that you said that I was the straight version of Owen Benjamin. So,
I don't think so. I think I called you a Mexican. I did. I said you were a Mexican to the Democrats because you were incapable of, thinking or doing for yourself. But nobody got it, including my IRL friends who were watching the stream.
Yeah.
They were like, "Bro, you called a disabled kid a Mexican."
Which one?
No, he's my friend. You don't get it.
Which
You just didn't get the joke. Bro, nobody got the joke. Nobody got the joke, man.
Which I honestly did not mind because I got what you were trying to do. I mean, I call
Sammy, you're not a Mexican. Why would you be offended by that?
Well, Scorpio actually has a video on his channel about how he's not Mexican either. So
Scorpio.
One of the earlier low class logic videos. So
Scorpio.
Yeah.
I need your opinion.
Okay.
Should I shut the fuck up and leave the stream right now? Or should I just keep ruining Sam's show like I tend to do?
What do they say? Steer into the skid, right?
Oh, I mean, that's an ice. Are you in the north too? Yeah. Like when you start sliding, steer into that shit.
I think I think Scorpio's in. Well, I'm not gonna say where because
no, we don't need that. No. Listen, I'm in the frozen motherfucking north. When you slide, you steer into the fucking shit. Actually, no, you don't. You don't do anything. You just let go of the steering wheel and you die. That's what happens.
Okay, that's what that might be the answer then.
It is. Listen, it is. Well, there's too many people. Just let go of the fucking steering wheel. Let God take control. Fuck.
Alan Pell is here in the chat though, and he says, "I am Mexican. That is why that is why my alter ego is bean pilled."
Listen,
so.
Alan Powell is a fucking ghost. That dude is dead. His body. I carry it around with me. That's his ghost. I resurrected that man
Yeah, behind
from a fence post, from beneath the fence post on Ursa Manor. That's a true story that happened.
oh yeah, just like the crippled kid swatting happened. So
Whoa, 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 whoa! I have fucking hair on my head, and my chair does not creak. Anything like that.
yeah.
What are we talking about again? We were talking about different things.
We were talking about grifters and we were talking about what a grifter is.